Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Compliments of the season, reaching you live from Abuja here. And I'm supposed to be on live with African Jaguar tonight on the channel. Turns out African Jaguar is not going to be able to broadcast live, so I'm going to use my channel to do that. So I'm waiting for him to conduct an interview. And as soon as I hear from him, I will bring him on and we can talk. But let me just say hello to all of you. Thank you so much. I see a lot of people joining right away. My goodness, I already have 213 people join just now. So I'm here in Abuja, and I'm sure all of you are having a great time out there. Well, not such a great time this year with COVID-19, and that's a natural pandemic. And here in Nigeria, we have our own pandemic too, which is a leadership pandemic. It's called COVID 419, which is Buhari's own pandemic. So I'm waiting for African Jaguar Vines to come on, and as soon as it does that, I will view his request and go live with him. I think hopefully he's able to join us, and we can start. But let me say, fantastic day to all of you. I see Africa Jaguar.
Good evening, sir.
What are you? Are you like in an isolation center or something?
Well, this is something I do because of the kind of people we have. They see that we push a lot of people like you, people who have great plans for Nigerian youth, and our lives are at risk. So I have to be anonymous by doing this, so that when I go into the
Oh, you
next
just use
mama,
this as a way of being
yes,
anonymous. I see. Yeah.
anonymous, hiding my identity so they don't attack me on my way to Mama Put to eat Amala one day. But a lot of people, they know me, they know what I do, they know why I do this, and they are happy about it. So it is always good for me to apologize to your followers. First of all, this is not a show off. This is just my way of, staying away from the public scene, just to remain anonymous and enjoy my quiet life. But thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to have a time with you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you, even though Instagram is trying to block me, because a lot of Nigerians, they're always flagging my page. Anytime we talk about something that needs to help Nigerian youths, you see some loyalists, they come and flag my page down. This is the seventh account, but the happy Nigerians are still following, and I really appreciate your time. Apologies for being late. Apologies for keeping you waiting. And I'll throw the airwaves open to you now so that you can say one or two things before I start throwing my questions to you.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you for the explanation, and I'm sure our very reasonable supporters understand why you came late. I have been waiting since 8 o'clock. It's 8:38 p.m. Left every other thing I was doing just to join you. I had to call the contacts not too long ago just so that
to know what is going on.
We can have this conversation. So it's fine. I have already introduced that you'll be coming on to this show, and supporters, followers, friends, all here. As soon as I jumped on the show, I saw many people coming, which means they've been waiting for us. So please feel free to start so that we can. We've lost quite some ground already, or some time.
Good. Thank you very much. So I don't need to do any new explanation. I'm sure all the Nigerians listening right now, they know who you are. I'm just going to dive straight into the matter. myself and a lot of other Nigerians, home and abroad, are looking at what is going on right now, and they are feeling like, come, Nigerian youths, are you sleeping, or what is wrong with you? You have an opportunity. You have a clear vision of what you want your future to be. It is like white and black, and you threw it away. And these are people like Sowore who are looking to put down their life just to take you there, and you still let them down. How does that make you feel when you look at all the efforts, all the things you have done from way back, and then you're now at the corridors of power, you're about to grab it, and Nigerian youth just let you down? How does that make you feel?
No, I don't feel that way. I don't feel that anybody let me down. What we must understand, let's see, if you want to go the route that I've been going through, been going to since I was, conscious as a young person, but in secondary, since when I was in primary school, secondary school, and then the university where I really started,
Hmm,
one thing you have to understand is that you're doing a yeoman's job and you're doing a thankless job. So some of the people that you're trying to liberate or help will turn against you. It happened to me in the university. Students once turned against me.
hmm,
Workers that we were fighting for turned against us. There was no time during my university years that we had the protests that the police did not benefit from it. Salary increments, they will give them bosses, they will give them allowances. But till tomorrow, the policemen are quick to turn their guns on you, kill you, even when you
hmm,
need sensors, for example. Part of the
hmm,
demands was better conditions of service or condition of service for policemen. They'll still kill you. They'll still go against
hmm,
you. It's human nature. But what you must understand is that when you're doing this as well, you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it simply because you want accolades, you want awards, or you want people to praise you. I think I said this a few times on these shows when Martin King's daughter once came out during the Black Lives Matter protest when people were praising her father and saying your father is the greatest. And he said, "Look, when my father was alive, he wasn't always loved. People
hmm,
called him all kinds of names. They called him Coon.
hmm,
So some called him Uncle Tom. They said it was too soft. It was too gentle. Malcolm X, they said it was too aggressive. It was
hmm,
crazy. It was an ex-convict. Um, you know, even if you go in the religious route, what did they do to Jesus Christ, right? They
hmm.
had a choice
Justified.
between him and Barabbas. They chose Barabbas over him. If you go in that route, if you go even with the
Hmm,
Muslims, when uh, the Muslim Prophet Muhammad, was once persecuted, was pursued from Mecca to Medina, same people. So,
hmm,
I'm just giving you all this knowledge so that you understand that when you do this, in the first place, don't make the mistake of expecting people to love you and to venerate you, especially in a society where
Nigeria.
people don't deserve over and above decent people. So, this explanation I've made several times. I'm not doing this for anybody. I'm doing this for myself. It's based out of my own personal
Hmm,
conviction. So, it's the reason why it doesn't matter what you say to me. I'll wake up, do what I got to do, and then go
and
back to
push
sleep,
forward.
hopefully, if I make
Hmm.
it to sleep.
Thank you very much. That's a fantastic one, actually, because what you're saying is something we too experience. People may say, oh, what do you know? But the thing is, when you build a page on the social media platform to thousands, hundreds of thousands, and then you start getting messages from fake accounts, these are actually people around you, people who are close to you, that you think, oh, we're in the same team. They will now use a fake account to send you, messages. They will attack you. They can't attack you face to face, but they will use fake accounts to attack you. Now I'm thinking to see if there is anything similar in your inner circle, the people you work with in your team. Have you ever been disappointed? Have you ever had any time when one of your inner circle team members went to go and leak a secret or, form allies with your enemies or opponents? How did you deal with such a thing?
I think I explained that earlier. You cannot do what we do, the scale at which we do it, or the scale on which we do it, and not expect people to first not expect you to be infiltrated. Government infiltrate people. It turned out that Malta King's photographer for his entire life was an FBI agent, right? So,
Hmm.
but those ones when you go outside of those spheres, you just have to understand that you're working and dealing with human beings, and people will do things for different reasons to get at you. So, you know, your friends will leak your secrets if there is any. Uh, where there's no secret, they make up stories about you in a way that they're
Hmm.
believable. But you just have to understand that you have to understand why you're doing this so that you don't have to worry about so many of these distractions, right? So, because were your life not to be very important, probably you will have that many enemies. But in the course of doing this, you also have to appreciate people you don't know or people who are close to you who sacrifice every day to defend you without knowing you, without being paid, without being, given any recognition. So each time you enjoy support from people you don't know, you should not also be scared about lack of support from people you know.
Big point. That's a big point right there. Now, in our Nigerian society, many of us see things differently. We travel abroad, we go back home, we see what we pray for, what we want Nigeria to be. We see it in the foreign land. But the moment we get back home, we see things happening differently. Like you get to the airport and the same people you're trying to fight for will go to the back. They'll go and bring a white man from the back of the queue and jump the queue, and you're still there struggling for you to get to your own turn. And the moment you say, "Sir, we're on the queue. Why do you have to go and bring somebody from the back?" They will say, hold on. Can't you see that these ones are special people? They will bring them to the front. That's something that happened to me, my own experience. And I was like, "Sir, excuse me, in your own country, do you queue or do you jump the queue? Why do they have to bring you from the back to the front? And we that we've been standing here, we don't exist." And the man was like, "He's actually right. Let me stay here. When it's my turn, you can attend to me." These people, you will still see somebody that will say, "Do you know who I am?" And they will just, bypass everybody else. They will take them through the back door. The next thing, they're on the same flight with you. But when you get to somewhere like London, you see all these big men with all these mobile police staying on the queue for minutes, like 30 minutes, 50 minutes, until it gets to their turn. But these things don't happen back home. Now, how do you explain to the youth that are so blind that this is wrong? These are the same people we're trying to fight for. They will attack you the moment you tell them that this is wrong, this is how you should do it. The same people will attack you. I know you mentioned something like that, but how do you tackle that problem? How do you educate them to do? How do you intend
It's
breaking this
holistic.
barrier?
It's holistic. What I'm what I'm trying to say to you is that you cannot change problems by attacking small problems, right? Nigeria came from, a colonial era. We were in a colonial enclave by the British. Before then, a lot of our brothers and sisters were moved out of here as slaves,
Hmm,
And then when we had independence, we just had flag independence. We didn't have real leaders that could take us to
hmm,
that level where we can really be independent. So it's the reason why we're fighting to have real independence, not from just
mm,
the colonial masters, but from our own internal colonizers, our brothers,
mm,
black people like me and you. So it's the
mm,
reason why you get to the airport, somebody going to bring somebody else back. It's a inferiority complex. But the question I will ask
mm,
is, when they do it to you, if they do it to me, I will scatter the airport. You understand? When I mean scatter, is that I will fight them so much that
trust you.
nothing else will happen at that airport until everybody who is on the queue is attended to. If you don't do
Mm,
something about it right there, then you should not complain. You know.
mm,
So that's how to do it. But in general, we must put an end to the mindset, the system the of government that allows our people to be maltreated both at home and abroad. And it is because we
mm,
have mediocre people as leaders of the country. So they are,
mm,
even the white world, or I mean Europeans and Americans, Asians, they are more comfortable with dummies as African leaders than to have real African leaders who can challenge them, who can tell them that
mm,
Africans have rights and we can't come and do the kind of nonsense you do in your country, in my country. So
mm,
you have to change not just the mindset, you have to change the leadership that will not permit or tolerate that kind of rubbish.
mm. Thank you very much. That's actually a good one. That's a good one. Now, moving forward, religion in our society, religion is another virus that we're trying to really, really put a balance in between it and the general public. No matter how much we push, when we take one step, religion takes us back 7 steps. And this is not only about Christianity, it is also the same in the Islamic sector. So we have Christianity, Islam, the traditionalists. The traditionalists, they are even much more peaceful to deal with, if I'm allowed to say that, than the Christians and the Muslims. Now, looking at politics, do you think the Nigerian youth religion and embrace a kind of future that we would like to live in, our children will hope they will live into? Do you think with the kind of religion we have, this youth of today, do you think they will allow the kind of Nigeria that we're hoping for?
So I think the young people of today, I'm trying to get the trajectory of your question because I was following the religious part. Then you talked about youth. Maybe we should separate it.
Okay.
Religion is one of the things that was used to capture uh, first the mind of Africans before they start capturing the body of Africans,
Mm,
black people all over. Because were it not for religion, it wouldn't have been easy uh, to indoctrinate people, make them fall victim of first
mm,
manipulation and also physical force that led them to abandon who they are, their cultural
mm,
heritage, and then start through whatever they're about, their identity, their language away, adopt another man's language, his ways, the mode of behavior, dressing, conduct, even the
mm,
way they talk, and then
mm,
completely lose all that and become another person. And then you want to then wonder why things are wrong with you. But religious conversations are the most difficult conversations to have with Nigerians. A Nigerian could be a PhD holder. The moment he's religious, forget it. And it's the same thing with
mm,
the African continent. It's probably the same thing with the world. Uh, People don't want to hear your own view. They don't want to hear a counter view. And the
mm.
moment religion is involved in any conversation, they just don't want to hear you. They want to hear just one thing, what their religious beliefs are, and anything else you are is inferior to that. So,
It's true.
and that is why you
It's
see our leaders use
mm.
religion a lot to divide the people. They are very
Divide and
quick to
conquer.
call the name of whomever they believe in, or whichever religious group they belong to, or church, or doctrine, denomination, as a way of just shutting people up and shutting them down. So religion is a very, very powerful tool for manipulation. I do not have religious conversations because it's also the most difficult conversation to have. I mean, you imagine that someone will have a PhD or a master's degree or a BSc. He will carry the Bible from his house, put it in the car, put his children and family in the car, and drive to a church whose pastor failed out of the university to come and interpret the same Bible to him, the person who has a PhD. I mean, you can stay in your house and read the Bible and
Absolutely.
interpret it to your family, your children. Why do you have to go to somebody who is completely a scammer? And then, the wife will be calling the pastor daddy. It's all convoluted. It's the same thing on the other side as well with Islam. Everything is just about instilling fear in people, either psychological or physical fear, so as to
It's true.
gain control of first you get your trust, and then you get control of their mind. And when the mind and the trust is not helping out, you whip them in line physically, as we have seen with the use of religious armies around the world to corral people into some kind of conformity. As one lady recently said, which I put on my Twitter page, she said that oppressive governments, government oppress citizens in Nigeria, Africa. It's the job of the church or religious organizations to keep the citizens compliant, to keep them in that place. So they are flogging you. The church say, please don't cry and don't fight back. So, but I think now moving to youth, I see more and more young people changing in terms of orientation. They are asking questions, from religious leaders. They are scrutinizing their lifestyles and wondering if it's worth it to believe what is being dished out to them wholeheartedly.
So someone was talking to me about a PhD holder, PhD in physics. This is a professor, and he saw a comet going from one orbit of the Earth to the other, and he said, somebody just died, an important person just died, and this is a professor in physics. And I'm thinking, you're a Nigerian, you're a professor in physics, and you're still having that mindset that it is somebody's destiny that is falling from one orbit of the Earth to the other through comets. And then you have a child who is going to school, who is looking up to you, who is also a scientist. And then in the near future, we will be wondering why that child is acting somehow. How can a professor be thinking somebody's life just dropped because comets moved from one part of the earth to the other? This is a professor, and these things are happening in our society. You see a professor. When I grew up in Ife, I schooled in OAU, went to Morimi High School and all sorts. And you will see professors going to mechanic thinking somebody has used juju on their car. And these are engineering professors. So where do we draw the line? It is going to be a difficult fight.
It's a difficult fight, but we must start having the conversation. So part of the reason why they get away with these conversations is because religion doesn't allow people to question their leaders. They don't allow you to question your father. Wife is not allowed to question their husband. Children are not allowed to question their parents. Well, when I was growing up, they even told me that you cannot read the Bible completely. If you finish the Bible, you will go mad. I guess they realize that if you read the Bible completely, you will get smart because you will see, you have a lot of questions that are unanswered, right? I read the Bible twice over, and when I finished it, I didn't go mad. and this was like
Yeah.
years ago. It just opened my eyes. But you know, there was also something that was floating around, and I've said it a lot before on the internet recently, on social media, about someone who went to the U.S. or Canada, and when he arrived there, he realized that 70% of their prayer points that they used to, their prayer points,
I
how
saw
you
that.
pray, 70% of it has already been answered upon arrival.
Yes.
And this include electricity, water, hospitals, schools, all those
Transportation.
things that they used to pray for. They've all
Hmm.
been answered. You don't have to pray for, uh, you don't have to pray for transformers anymore on your streets
No,
because you don't even know where the transformer is located.
you don't.
But in Nigeria, you will see archbishops go to highways that are bad, and they'll be pouring oil there to stop accidents. They'll be praying there because of regular accidents. Instead of organizing the church members to protest against the governor so that they will come and repair the road, they'll be pouring olive oil that they call anointing oil on the highway there. It's the same Goya oil you buy from the supermarket in the US. But people fall for it. People buy handkerchief here, you know. They put a little bit of cologne in it, and they sell it to church members. Yes, they go and plagiarize books that have been written by other people. They call it inspirational books. People buy it because they know they're not going to read it, so they will not find out whether it was plagiarized or not. And they call themselves authors. Uh, they, you know, they they make cassettes, CDs, and sell it to
Yeah,
people. And when all these people
yeah.
buy all the things from them, they make so much money. They go and build universities. The members who paid for the university cannot afford to send their children there.
No,
And
no.
then the pastors will end up buying a private jet and be flying all over the world and claiming that if Jesus was around, Jesus will not
Jesus. Yes.
will be using private jets. So religion is a very powerful tool for control of human mind. Very, very powerful. And the ones here are using it very well. One last thing I'll say about it before you move on or we move on is that there's always you know there's always a relationship between higher level of religiosity and poverty. So wherever there's poverty, people are likely to believe more in religious doctrines and leaders. So somebody will tell you that he's making that they can make people rise from the dead, which is not true. Most people know that. Otherwise, everybody the churches will be based at mortuaries if pastors can raise people from the dead. You just make churches mortuaries so that just when your people die, take it to the church. The
Just
person will be raised from the
straight up,
dead, and then
straight
they
up.
can go back to life. So, but who do
Marketing
you tell
strategy.
that? Who do you tell these things? Nobody. Nobody you can explain this to, right? They would they will kill you. They will kill you just to defend a false pastor, a scammer. There was a pastor in Nigeria that said that nobody entered the toilet in Nigeria and appeared in France. And they were clapping for him. There was one pastor in Nigeria that said that kind of very backward things ridiculous things come from these fake religious leaders.
Religious leader.
But like I want to say to you, that's a discussion for another symposium in the future, not
True,
today.
true. Not today. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Moving on to the next one. Online these days, there are so many concerns being raised about Nigeria being one or different people going their different ways. Yoruba going to form their Oduduwa country, the Igbo people going to form Biafra, and Hausa people to find their way, this and that. And That thing keeps popping up in every corner. But for me, I still believe in Nigeria. And so many like myself, we look up to people like you, hoping that, yes, Sowore will do it. Sowore will do it for us. Do you still see Nigeria in the near future as one? Or do you think you will be able to rule the Yoruba land alone, separately? I don't know if I'm asking that question properly. Do you see yourself ruling Nigeria as a
Look, I think it's the most frequently asked question these days. Are you a supporter of Yoruba Oduduwa Republic? Do you support Biafra?
Nigeria?
Do you want Nigeria to break up? And I've answered this question so many times. I don't even
Hmm,
know what to say again. But my position is very clear. I'm a Pan-Africanist, right? As far as I'm concerned, the African continent should be one country. And this might have come from the fact that I'm a little bit widely traveled, and I know that countries function very well when they are well governed. And
hmm,
so I've seen big countries that are better governed, that are doing well, and I've been to small countries that are terribly governed that are not doing well.
true,
Example is the US. You can travel from one part of the US to the other, 6 hours of flight from the
true,
East Coast to the West Coast in most cases. One state in the US, Alaska, is bigger than Nigeria. Texas is 75% of Nigeria. Nigeria is just twice the size of California, right? Yet, there's all this one country. It has one president, it has state governors, it has local governments that we call counties. It has city mayors. You understand? So, they're fairly well governed and it's working. And then you go to Southern Sudan, which is a country that was recently formed, has oil, and they've been at war since they
hmm,
got their so-called independence because of
very
issues of
true,
governance. So, governance
very
is
true,
key to making any country work. So, if you break up Nigeria, which most people want, and a lot of people are salivating and talking about it, I'm not in any way diminishing their struggle. Nigeria hasn't worked. If Nigeria doesn't work for you, you're entitled to feel like maybe if it's broken up, it will work better for you. But I don't support that because I know that I know the people who destroyed Nigeria did not come from one region. The people who are destroying, I should speak now. The people who are
hmm,
destroying Nigeria this evening, there are Yorubas in this Abuja where I am. They are meeting together. Yorubas, Hausa, Igbo, Ibibio,
exactly,
TV, anywhere, any language, all the languages, all the ethnic groups are involved. Has one bad guy or the other that's involved in destroying Nigeria. So
hmm,
to now trying to convince me that breaking up Nigeria, that if we go to Oduduwa Republic, I'm suddenly going to be living in Eldorado. What is my Eldorado? Electricity, water, lights, you know,
true,
infrastructure, great schools. It's not going to happen. One case scenario is Lagos. Lagos makes more money than about 15 states in the country from the internally generated revenue.
true,
Since Lagos, since Nigeria came to democracy 20 years ago, go and ask yourself if there's a 100 kilometer of highway anywhere that they have made in Lagos. Go and ask yourself 100 kilometers of highway you can't find by the Lagos
no,
state government. And the people governing Lagos, they are not Fulanis, they are not Igbos, they are
hmm,
Yorubas. The same smart Yoruba people. They cannot construct
hmm,
100 kilometers of highway. Smart Yoruba people cannot solve traffic problem in Lagos. They cannot solve drainage
hmm,
problem in Lagos. They cannot build world-class schools in Lagos. They cannot create world-class hospitals in Lagos.
hmm,
They cannot build world-class transportation system in Lagos. And you are trying to convince me that if we break up with all the money that they've had and squandered and stolen, that suddenly, I'll be able to hold them accountable or that I'll be living better. That is one argument. In terms of wickedness, they will be as wicked as Nigeria is today, because the wickedness that Nigeria is perpetrating is being conducted, arranged, and executed by all tribes. Again, I take you back to NSAS. Where did we have the most attack in NSAS? Injury,
Lagos.
you know, massacre, Lagos. Who called soldiers? Yoruba people. Abi is it Fulani that called the soldiers?
Yoruba leader.
It's Yoruba guy, right? Sowore, in Ogun, in Osun State, the governor ran over protesters, killed the battery of them, shot at them. In Ogun State, they had already started arresting people for this. And if you go to for disrupting a party that Obasanjo was in, already got some of the guys arraigned for murder. I mean robbery. They didn't commit a crime. You go to Oyo State. I think it was in Oyo State that the palace of the Sowore of the song. Soldiers walked in there, shot people. We saw them online. They were killing them like crazy. These are people, our own people, right? I'm saying it because a lot of it is driven by, some kind of passionate feeling that maybe we are in a smaller environment, so we can hold our leaders accountable. It's not true. For me, it would be a waste of my efforts in the last 30 years if we just let Nigeria be taken over, be broken apart because of these criminal characters who refuse to govern Nigeria properly. But I believe that even when we break up, if we don't solve the general problem of Nigeria now, the problems of Nigeria as it is now, in smaller quantity or quantities, we follow the various breakaway republics to wherever they are. Yes. So, and the problem boils down to one simple thing: leadership. Leadership. If we wake up tomorrow and Nigeria is governed by different set of leaders and different set of values that have respect for human rights, that doesn't engage in corruption, that start investing in people, building schools, hospitals, do you know, sir, that nobody will ask about breaking up anymore?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Because our people that are living in the diaspora, who are living in different countries, why are the Yorubas in Peckham not asking to break away from the UK? Because they buy Akara on the streets of Peckham now. It's because you get council flats. During the lockdown, they were paying people money that were not sent to their children at home. The welfare system was solid. So you are even happy to call yourself a British, because the British system supports you. That doesn't mean that there's no smaller racism or discrimination here and there. But the country where you come from doesn't afford you those kind of luxuries. But the country where you're staying, which is a second home, affords you luxuries that you cannot enjoy at home. I give myself as an example. When they were giving checks in the US for people who are not in town, I'm sure they sent a check to my house for 1,600, and I have not been in the US for a year. Right? They're asking about my student loans. They're calling that, oh, please, we want to defer repayment of your student loan because we know there's COVID. I'm not even a US citizen. I'm only a permanent resident. In my country, what are they doing to me? They're beating me up, tear gassing me, keeping me in detention for 5 months. They froze all my account. Make sure that the business that I created, they brought it down or they want to bring it down. They went and took over the office that we use in Lagos. At the point, some guys said because of a report they want to burn down the office. That was Obasa. The Attorney General of the Federation has sued me twice because of stories written on Sahara Reporters. The Inspector General of Police has sued me last week, even though I'm not connected to the stories, and they know that because when they write stories in the Nation or this day, they don't sue their publishers. But when it comes to Sahara Reporters,
They come after me, you know. And since I was released, the DSS are trying to arrest me. The DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, tried to arrest me. The police shot at me. At the point they seized my car. In 1 year, there's nothing my country hasn't done to me negatively. Negatively, you know.
It's crazy.
The country that is a second country that was just a country that I only stayed in for 20 years. Look at what the senators did for me when I was in detention. They were all shouting, release Sowore, release Sowore. No senator in Nigeria that I know of stood up for me. When I came out, some of my friends said there's one senator from Ondo State that issued a statement. I was not aware of it. There was no, the Senate tried to investigate when I was abducted in the courtroom. Till today, they have not made public their findings. The person who was the chair of the Senate Committee on Judiciary is Omoyele Bamidele. He was a former NANS president, former pro-democracy activist who himself lived in exile during the Nadeko days. He becomes a senator in Nigeria, becomes a monster, supports injustice. So there's something wrong in this country that has to be fixed. And you look at it, every time a Nigerian steps out of Nigeria, they're doing well. Look at Biden's cabinet that he unraveled. One of the top guys there is a Nigerian, right? You know.
Of course.
So, but when a Nigerian comes to Nigeria, an average Nigerian government is looking at how to bring you down. If you have independent ideas, if you are not kissing up to them, if you are not saying, you know, rank Hadede, or prostrating in the country, or you're saying hallelujah to prayers that should have been answered in other places. So come after you. It's a very, very interesting situation.
It's difficult. It's difficult. You did an interview a while ago. You spoke about bad leadership, and then that just surfaced again in what we were discussing just now about why people don't want to break up when they are abroad, but when they are home, they want to break up. The Yoruba will be shouting Oduduwa, Igbo will be shouting Biafra, Hausa will be doing their own. Now, I spoke to somebody, I said, we've been to so many countries, we've lived, studied, and dined and wined with them in their lands before we come back home. And we sort of obey rules, we do well, we follow guidelines and everything there. We have diversity training, we tolerate one another. But the moment we go back home, we become monsters and we are not governable. Now, when you say this to Nigerians, they will tell you, you can't shut up there, you can't compare Nigeria to Western world. We here, we're democracy and we have 300 languages. But over there, it's only one language. In fact, if I say, look at Dubai, they operate monarch system, not democratic ruling system. But this has nothing to do with the outcome of their leadership. It's just bad governance and corruption. In England, they speak over 1,000 languages. Igbo is, you said it, Yoruba is in Peckham, Igbo is in Peckham, Hausa is in Peckham. They live happy together because 95% of their prayers have been answered by the system. But back home, we are all enemies against one another. No single government can govern us successfully because we claim we speak different languages. But in London, we speak different languages. Hausa is here, Uganda is here, Gabon is here, Jewish is here, German is here, Israeli, all of us, we understand each other. There is no discrimination. Of course, like you said, there are little bits of racism here and there, which can be managed. But all of us seem to be happy together. But the moment we go back home, we become enemies. Is it because of language barrier? I don't think so. I just think it is just bad leadership. Because if we have good leadership here in UK or in America, where everybody speaks different languages, but we just have a balance. We find a balance to do things right. At bus stops, you see people, they queue. They want to get a job. There is nothing like favoritism. You go to the hospital, they treat you normally. You go to a common corner shop where they sell cigarettes or wine, or you want to buy coffee. They treat you with respect. They tell you, thank you, sir. You're the one spending money. You're still, they show you love. But if you go to a Nigerian shop, they will tell you, ọ̀gbẹ́ni tó dára kó ra, tó bá ní rajà kó gẹ́ kó ró ní shop mi. This attitude, why is it attached to home alone? But we don't behave like that the moment we step into a foreign man's country. What is going on?
No, there's nothing going on. Look, what do you think molds character of when people are born? If a child is born in the US, before you leave the hospital, they will give you all your shots. You be immunized against all kinds of diseases, so that they won't affect you in the future. In the US, if a child doesn't go to school and you don't call the principal or the headmaster, the first day, the second day is police that will come and knock your door. Why is your child not in school?
It's true.
Yes. And they will ask the child to step aside if he can speak and check out this child to see that there's no abuse. What do you do to our children here? Right? We put them on the street to be selling. The ones that are not selling are begging. Meanwhile, our leaders will use the money that is meant to send over 5,000 children to school on one child. They'll send the child to school in London. They'll fly the child on the business class tickets whenever he's on vacation to come to Nigeria. Gets to the airport, go and pick him up with a Bentley or a Maybach. Money that's meant for everybody, one guy acquires it. And the rest of us are expected to just say, Rankadede, may you live long. And wait until we get to that point where we stop saying, may you live long, that may we live long, we are not going to change the way our leaders behave. I put up a post today, which was something I did last week when I was being interviewed by My Igbo Diary Political. And it was asking me, when am I going to see my family? Because I've been restricted to Abuja now for a year by a judge who has family herself. She has 5 kids. And she did it on purpose. They all arranged to keep me here so that, they figure out how to ruin my either political career or business career, scare me or use me as an example to scare other young people. And I said, if I wanted to run away, I would have run away. Nigeria doesn't have borders. But I decided I'm not going to run away from these guys, fellow citizens of my country, simply because they're in power, because they're wearing uniform that has stripes, epaulets, or brass or bronze knuckles, or all these things they wear on their body. Because the difference between me and an army general is just the uniform and the boots, right? So why should I run? Why should we all keep running away from our citizens out of fear? You will run for Buhari. Buhari's son will come. You run for Buhari's son too. Atiku will come. You run away from Atiku. Before you know it, you have been running away, and you look at the clock, and you have clocked. Probably 60.
It's crazy.
So I got that point, and I said, I'm not running away from anybody again. If they want to come and kill me, they should come and kill me. I'm not running away anymore, and we'll face it together. But the idea of running away is what emboldens these criminals in this country. If everybody were to wait around, I'm not saying people should not travel. If you want to travel, travel. But those of us there must be a number of people that have said that we are not going away. How can less than 1 million people hold 200 million people to ransom? I don't get it.
It's
less
crazy.
than 1 million people. How can they hold 200 million people to ransom? What kind of calculation is that? Where's the strength? Simply because they have some soldiers, policemen, and civil defense who go around and intimidate. If all of us just decide to come out one day and say, look, this nonsense is enough, it's over.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Absolutely.
The Nigeria armed forces combined together, army, police, DSS, they are not more than 1 million. And this country has 200 million people. Out of them, over 70 to 100 million of them are young people below the age of 30. And they're always afraid. One soldier in Nigeria can beat up 1,000 Nigerians and they won't raise a finger. You can ask them to lead down and be rolling in the mud.
It's true.
They won't raise a finger.
It's true. It's
I'm
true.
telling you. He may not even carry a gun. It might just be that whip they call koboko. So all of you lie down. They'll be looking at him. They will lie down. Very docile sort of people. But again, all that is changing. And that's why we are having these conversations that we're having. That's why NSAS happened. That we are getting to a point where people are pushing back against this nonsense. And they're saying enough is enough. And we don't want to continue to be slaves in our own country. We can't be a generational slave, a slave to their father, a slave to their father's father. You know, my father was afraid of Buhari in 1983 because of Koboko, where he gets discipline. Me too, I would be afraid of Buhari in 2020
In the generation.
because of DFS.
I will never be able to understand.
Stop, you know. And in stopping it, we must talk to our parents, because our parents are the foundation of our fair. A lot of our parents were let down. They didn't do, I'm sorry to use the word shit for us. They didn't stand up for us. They didn't stand up for themselves, and they stand up for us. That's why this country is like this. And when you go out these days, they are the first to tell you, be careful, don't let them touch you. And this one, no. We have the first battle I had was with my parents. So I had to fight my parents. But look, if you people couldn't fight during your own time, that's a problem. Leave me alone. Let me fight for my own generation. Let me fight for my children. Let me fight for my children's children. I don't want to continue in this slavery. So, because I see that a lot with our parents, they're always there to stop you, to discourage you. Because during their own time, they were afraid. If they had stood up like we're standing up now, consistently in their own time, we would not be in the mess that we are in now.
True.
Yes. We will not be in this mess.
Thank you so much for that.
And this doesn't apply to every parent, to be fair to some parents, they stood up. Ganifa and me stood up. Fela stood up. Beko stood up. Femi Falana stood up. Shima Obade stood up. Babidele Aturu stood up. And their children will continue in those trajectories as well. The majority of our parents did not stand up for us. I'm sorry to say. They were busy kneeling down for pastors, traditional rulers, army generals, whomever was the thief that had the upper hand in their neighborhood was the chief.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. We were discussing something not long ago, and this is about caring for Nigerians. And we looked around the whole states in the country. None of them has any idea about what they call affordable housing for the masses. I remember when I was working as an estate broker, I was a member of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, and we had this gazette. But somewhere along the line, the gazette was turned around and it became something that politicians were selling from hand to hand, and then it became a property for the highest bidder. And there was nothing like affordable housing for the masses anymore. Anyone who is a member of Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers will know what I'm talking about. Now, the only person that did that in his own time was Jakonde. Jakonde did it, and a lot of families, a lot of successful people, successful families in Lagos today grew up in those estates. Everywhere you look in Lagos, you see LSDPC housing estate, LSDPC Jaguar estate, here and there, all over Lagos. That was the last time they ever did anything like that. But they're making more money now. They're claiming to be bigger now. They know better. They are well traveled. They see things around the world. But why is it so difficult? And when people like you step forward to make a change, it is like you're a threat to, it is like you're coming to show what they could have done better, but they refuse to do. And by so doing, it is easier for them to just destroy you so that you don't get there. And the people who you're trying to deliver, the people you are trying to set free, they don't miss what they never had. They don't understand these things when you tell them that you are supposed to be living in an affordable housing, not here. Or you're a police officer, you're entitled to a property for yourself, your wife, and children, not in this makeshift of a room that you think you're living in and you think, yes, you are enjoying. They don't understand. How do we go beyond this slavery? Is it going to be ever?
It's a complicated question, but I understand the question you're trying to ask. But I don't dwell on it, and I think we started this conversation that way when we started the discussion. You know, like how people betray you and all that. So look, you have to understand why you are doing this. If you are doing this to be praised by people, to be fitted by people, to be given awards, you'll be disappointed. If you want to do it, if you want to make it in Nigeria, just be taking photographs of rich people and be putting it on Instagram. You will become popular. They will
It's
love
true.
you. Yes. But if you want to be speaking truth to power, you must be ready for the consequences. You know, the reason why it's not new to me, it's not funny to me, or it's not bothering me, is that I've been like this for a long time. A person was expelled from the university. I was almost killed in the university by student gangs because I was opposed to gangs and the fact that government was beating them in those days. But if you go around today, when I was in the university, the university authorities lied against me that I was a court member, and I've never joined a court before in my life, and expelled me with other court members who I was fighting against. Those who attended the University of Lagos with me understood this experience. So, if you even still go around today, they sponsor all kinds of propaganda against my person. They lie. They tell all kinds of lies. Some of them would lie so much, they use giveaway to tell lies against me on Instagram and Twitter. If they want to lie against me, they will do giveaway to people because they know that all these young people, they have nothing. They have deprived them. The money they stole from them, they'll give it back to them as giveaway to go attack you or me. So that's where we are. We have reached a level of depravity in a system that is serious. But it is always like this whenever society is about to capitulate towards to change. Yes. So don't worry about it. If you are worried about this, I'll tell you are in the wrong profession. Maybe when you start getting less worried about it, you'll be able to open your face. You won't be covering your face with mask anymore. Because then you will have signed,
The time is
especially in
coming. This
Nigeria.
market is going to
It's
go
like
off
it's
soon.
like me now. I'm not gonna cover my face. I go out whenever I need to go out. I come in whenever I need to come in. I'm not afraid of anybody because it is this idea of fear that emboldens these criminal elements in our country to do what they like. Because they can boast of it that you will be afraid of them. Even when they
Of
are the ones
course.
stealing all the money, even if they are the ones doing the wrong things, it is people who are doing the right thing in Nigeria that are afraid of the people who are doing the wrong things.
The wrong
And it's
things.
supposed to be that the people who are doing the wrong things that are supposed to be afraid
Afraid of
of
the
people who are doing the right thing. Everything in Nigeria is upside down.
Upside down.
But
Upside down.
yes, but don't let that discourage you. Like I keep saying, don't let that discourage you. Move on. Do what you got to do according to your convictions. You know, and what is the biggest fear you have? Death. Everybody's gonna die. Well, the death is a necessary
We will die one.
when you die. When it
We will
comes,
all die.
you can't plead. Yeah. And it's just 1 second, then you're on the other side, whichever side it is. You're not here anymore. And you don't have to deal with fear, pain, disappointment, discouragement, infiltration, betrayal. You don't have to be afraid of your debts anymore. Nothing. You're gone. This body is matter. You understand? It is comprised of liquids, solids, and gas. I mean, so and they will be decomposing as a matter of in that order. The gas will escape first, the liquid will come after, and then the solid will start decomposing after a while. So
It's true. It's
don't
true.
worry so
It's
much.
true.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
true. It's true. Now, do you have any experience you can share with us of these bad people trying to lure you to join them or to give you beautiful bag of money so that you can forget about your own vision and then be either PDP or be so that you can help them push what they can't push, because having somebody like you on their platform will give them so much power. And I know it is our people now. They will try. I know. Is there any time that these people have tried to canvass you to make you join their party, either PDP or APC?
I think I started early enough in life to take a position that cannot be compromised. And as a
Thank
result,
God.
before people approach you for certain things, they must have seen signs in you that you are interested. I've reached a point in my life that people don't come and approach me with rubbish. I don't have
Thank
a
God.
supermarket for compromise. So you cannot come there and shop. There's nothing to buy from me because I have nothing to sell. I don't have anything to sell to anybody in government. And with due respect, I have more experience than most of the people who are running Nigeria today. And when I say this, sometimes people will say, Sowore has come again. No, it's not that Sowore has come there. I've been through 7 presidents. Some of the people who are in Nigeria today were hiding under their beds when we were fighting the military in the 90s. I'm telling you. Some of them graduated after I had left the university. I graduated from the University of Lagos in 1995. Finally, I was supposed to graduate in 1993, but because of June 12th, we didn't graduate until 95, but because of expulsion and ASU strike and all that. So, the people who were born in 1995, how old are they now? They are the ones on Twitter, right? So,
it's true.
Yes. So, the people who were born in 1999 when I left for the US, they are 20 years old. Some of them are married now. So I've been through generations of people in Nigeria to understand, and most of them also understand through my history what they have heard or what they know, that you cannot come and approach me with rubbish. You understand? You can't come and ask me to join your party when I was 22 years old. I was hanging out with the Abiolas of this world. And Abiola could not bribe me when he was a millionaire. Why would somebody be able to bribe me when I'm 50 years old?
Exactly.
I was 22 years old when we were all fighting for Abiola. You understand what I mean? So these things are a function of where you stand, how they see you too, right? If they see you as someone who will compromise, they will approach you with things that will compromise you. But if they understand that you are not on that level, they resort to other things. They resort to attacks, lies against you, because they just can't figure out why you are not like the rest of the people they know. So yes, so these are things that. But I've had offers before. Even Jonathan before. wanted me to come and serve in his government. I told him I'm not interested. So, and I've spoken about this several times. When Buhari won election in 2015, this Femi Additional called me that, or it was it Garbashel, he invited me that I should come and see Buhari. I said I'm not interested. I've never met a Nigerian president before in my life. I've never met any one of them before. When I was running for office, some people wanted me to go and see Obasanjo. I refused. I don't believe in Obasanjo. I cannot go to his house. So when we were in the university, Babangida would send for student leaders. I refused to go. And those were deals that he used to bribe. Babangida can bribe an angel. You know, they used to call him donatus those days because he donates money for Nigeria's money as he likes. So we've been through all that before. Even when I was in detention last year, Buhari sent a delegation to me, including Garba Shehu, asking me to calm down. You know, if I had agreed with them, they had proposals that they want to, of what to give me so that I would not be disturbing them. I did not accept it. Because of that, I spent 4 more months in detention. And they charged me for rubbish offenses. They told me that they don't want to charge me for anything. They just want me to agree not to ruffle the federal government and that I should apologize to Buhari.
For what?
I told them I'm not interested. That it's Buhari that should apologize to Nigeria for the shambolic way he's running the country. But at the end of it,
Exactly.
it's too late. Right? It's too late.
So right
We
now
are
in Abuja,
at the
are you
point
free
where
to,
we want a revolution.
in Abuja today, are you free to go out as you wish without anybody harassing you? Can you just jump in your own car and say, "Oh, I'm going out. I'm going to the shop to buy some food or something"?
I didn't hear you very well. Can you repeat that question, please?
Yeah, I'm saying, as of today in Abuja, are you free to jump in your own car, go to the stores, buy groceries, and go back home
Yes, I
without
do.
anyone
I can do.
harassing you?
Yes. Well, they
Can,
follow me around, but I don't care. Yeah. They follow me around. They're all over me. They're always trailing me all over the city. They're around
you're,
my house. I'm sure they try to infiltrate where I live, but I don't care. Yeah, I do
you're
go out.
enjoying free bodyguards. Free bodyguards you're enjoying. You know.
Yes, it doesn't matter. I told them that. Everybody knows that.
Hmm,
I don't
hmm.
care. I'm in this for to totally change the country completely. There's no going back.
We will keep
So,
pushing.
guys,
Myself,
with due respect, African Jaguar, the time allocated for this interview was an hour to start at
no, no.
8 p.m. And
I'm
even though I've
I was,
enjoyed it thoroughly, I just want to plead
I
with you
was
to let
about
us
to
start
say thank you.
wrapping up so that we can attend to several other things, both
We have
physically and
actually finished.
mentally.
We have actually finished. I was just about saying thank you very much for your time because, well, a lot of people right now, they're happy. Some, some of us, myself and a few other people, we will never get tired of using our platforms to push your agenda. Your younger brother was the one that approached me about 2 years ago. And since then, I've always been, pushing and pushing. And we're happy that you're not letting us down. We are here, we will support you, we will continue to support you. We will use our platform to push your agenda, and by the special grace of God, you will get there. You will get there. And thank you once again for your time. I really appreciate your time. A whole lot of Nigerians out there are happy right now. They may want to ask questions, but I'm sure we've nailed all the questions that are
We can
necessary.
we can we
Thank
can
you
do
so much.
another one another day when
Of course,
your system is back up and we can start on time
of course,
so that we can answer all
of
your
course.
questions. No problem at all. I'm available
Thank you so
anytime.
much. Thank you
Yes,
so
for this
much.
kind of endeavor. And let me use the
Thank you
opportunity
so much.
to wish you Happy New Year. And for those
Thank you.
that are forced to be happy. And I want to
Thank
wish
you.
all the people watching this show uh, a I mean, happy holidays as well. Very happy holidays. We've had a challenging year, and more is going to come, but we've also had a year that we can be proud of, especially with regards to the answers of pricing. So we see more of you as soon as possible, and thank you so much for bringing me on your show.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your